listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 105. We're continuing in the book of Deuteronomy, and there is a letter to the Israelites written by Moses, and he continues to give them more laws, and he covers a great variety of topics, everything from divorce to kidnapping, skin disease, and how to treat immigrants and orphans. And Deuteronomy 25 continues with laws about dealing with animals and what to do if you have a brother and his wife dies. And there are even laws about how many times you're allowed to be hit with a whip. If a judge decides you must be beaten. And there is one thing a man's wife can never do, or she will lose her hand. And finally, Moses teaches them what to do with the Amalekites. And we are also continuing in the book of Luke. And here Jesus teaches a parable called the Rich Man and Lazarus, which has some interesting supernatural elements, which describes both heaven and hell. And finally, Jesus teaches what it's really like to be a good servant. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Deuteronomy 23, and a letter to the Israelites from Moses. People who cannot join in worship. A man with a crushed testicle or part of his sex organ cut off may not come into the meeting to worship the Lord. If a man's parents were not legally married, that man may not come into the meeting to worship the Lord. And none of his descendants, to the 10th generation, may join in that group. An Ammonite or Moabite may not come into the meeting to worship the Lord. And none of their descendants, to the 10th generation, may come into the meeting. The Ammonites and Moabites refused to give you bread and water on your journey when you came from Egypt. They also tried to hire Balaam, son of Beor, from the city of Pethor in Mesopotamia, to curse you. But the Lord your God refused to do what Balaam asked. Instead, the Lord changed the curse into a blessing for you because he loves you. You must never try to make peace with the Ammonites or Moabites. As long as you live, don't do anything to help them. People the Israelites must accept. You must not hate Edomites, because they are your relatives. You must not hate Egyptians, because you were a stranger in their land. The children of the 3rd generation, born to the Edomites and Egyptians, may come into the meeting to worship the Lord. Keeping the army camp clean. When your army goes to fight against your enemies, stay away from everything that would make you unclean. If there is any man who is unclean because he had a flow of semen during the night, he must go out of the camp. He must stay away from the camp. Then, when evening comes, the man must bathe himself in water. And when the sun goes down, he may come into the camp again. You also must have a place outside the camp where people can go to relieve themselves. Among your weapons, you must also carry a stick to dig with. Then, when you relieve yourself, you must dig a hole and cover it up. This is because the Lord your God is there with you in your camp to save you and to help you defeat your enemies. So the camp must be holy. He must not see anything unclean among you, or he will leave you. Other laws. If slaves run away and come to you, don't force them to go back to their masters. Runaway slaves may live with you wherever they like, in whatever city they choose. You must not trouble them. An Israelite man or woman must never become a temple prostitute. The money earned by a prostitute, either a male or female, must not be brought to the house of the Lord your God as an offering to him. Those prostitutes are disgusting to the Lord your God. When you loan something to another Israelite, you must not charge interest. Don't charge interest on money, on food, or on anything that may earn interest. You may charge interest to a foreigner, but you must not charge interest to another Israelite. If you follow these rules, the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do in the land where you are going to live. When you make a promise to the Lord your God, don't be slow to pay everything you promised. The Lord your God will demand that you pay for it. You will sin if you don't pay what you promised. If you don't make a promise, you are not sinning, but you must do what you say you will do. If you choose to make a promise to the Lord your God, you must do what you promised. When you go through another person's vineyard, you may eat as many grapes as you want, but you cannot put any of the grapes in your basket. When you go through another person's field of grain, you may eat all the grain you can pick with your hands, but you cannot use a sickle to cut that person's grain and take it with you. Deuteronomy 24. A man might marry a woman and then find out something about her that he does not like. If that man is not pleased with her, he must write the divorce papers and give them to her. Then he must send her from his house. When she has left his house, she may go and become another man's wife. But suppose the new husband also does not like her and sends her away. If that man divorces her, the first husband may not take her again to be his wife. Or if the new husband dies, her first husband may not take her again to be his wife. She has become unclean to him. If he married her again, that would be disgusting to the Lord. You must not sin like this in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. When a man is newly married, he must not be sent into the army, and he must not be given any other special work. For 1 year, he must be free to stay at home and make his new wife happy. When you lend someone something, you must not take as security any part of the stones used to grind flour. That would be the same as taking away their food. Someone might kidnap another Israelite, one of their own people, and sell that person as a slave. If that happens, the kidnapper must be killed. You must remove this evil from your group. When you have a dreaded skin disease, be very careful to follow everything the Levite priests teach you. You must follow carefully what I told the priests to do. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam on your journey out of Egypt. When you give someone any kind of loan, you can keep something they own until they pay you back. But you must not go into their house to get what you will keep as the security. You must wait outside for the person to bring the security to you. If he is poor and gives you only his coat as security, you must not keep it overnight. You must give that security back to him every evening. Then he will have a coat to sleep in. He will bless you, and the Lord your God will accept this as living right and doing good. You must not cheat a hired servant who is poor and needy. It does not matter if he is an Israelite or if he is an immigrant living in one of your cities. Give him his pay every day before sunset because he is poor and depends on the money. If you don't pay him, he will complain against you to the Lord, and you will be guilty of sin. Parents must not be put to death for something their children did, and children must not be put to death for something their parents did. People should only be punished for their own sin. You must make sure that immigrants and orphans are treated fairly, and you must never take clothes from a widow as security. Remember, you were poor slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God took you from that place and set you free. That is why I tell you to do these things for the poor. You might be gathering your harvest in the field, and you might forget and leave some grain there. You must not go back to get it. It will be for the immigrants. the orphans, and the widows. If you leave some grain for them, the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. When you beat your olive trees, you must not go back to check the branches. The olives you leave will be for the immigrants, the orphans, and the widows. When you gather the grapes from your vineyard, you must not go back to gather the grapes you left. They will be for the immigrants, the orphans, and the widows. Remember, you were poor slaves in Egypt. That is why I tell you to do these things for the poor. Deuteronomy 25. When two people have an argument, they should go to the court. The judge will decide which person is right and which is wrong. If the judge decides a person must be beaten with a whip, the judge must make that person lie face down. Someone will beat the guilty person while the judge watches. The number of times he must be hit depends on the crime. Don't hit anyone more than 40 times during punishment, because more than that means that their life is not important to you. When an animal is being used to separate grain, you must not cover its mouth to stop it from eating. If two brothers live together, and one of them dies without a son, the wife of the dead man must not marry a stranger outside the family. Her husband's brother must take her as his wife and have sex with her. He must do the duty of a husband's brother for her. Then the first son she has will be considered the dead man's son in order to keep the dead man's name alive in Israel. If the man does not want to take his brother's wife, she must go to the town meeting place and tell the leaders,
"My husband's brother refuses to keep his brother's name alive in Israel. He will not do the duty of a husband's brother to me."
Then the leaders of the city must call the man and talk to him. If the man is stubborn and says, "I don't want to take her," then his brother's wife must come to him in front of the leaders. She must take his sandal off his foot and spit in his face. She must say,
"This is being done to the man who will not give his brother a son."
From then on, the brother's family will be known in Israel as the family of the man whose sandal was removed. Two men might be fighting against each other. One man's wife might come to help her husband, but she must not grab the other man's sex organs. If she does that, cut off her hand. Don't feel sorry for her. Don't use weights that are too heavy or too light. Don't keep measures in your house that are too large or too small. You must use weights and measures that are correct and accurate. Then you will live a long time in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Anyone who cheats by using false weights and measures is disgusting to the Lord your God. The Amalekites must be destroyed. Remember what the Amalekites did to you when you were coming from Egypt. The Amalekites did not respect God. They attacked you when you were weak and tired. They killed all your people who were slow and walking behind everyone else. That is why you must destroy the memory of the Amalekites from the world. You will do this when you enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you. There he will give you rest from all the enemies around you. But do not forget to destroy the Amalekites. Luke chapter 16, verses 19 to 31. Jesus said, "There was a rich man who always dressed in the finest clothes. He was so rich that he was able to enjoy all the best things every day. There was also a very poor man named Lazarus. Lazarus's body was covered with sores. He was often put by the rich man's gate. Lazarus wanted only to eat the scraps of food left on the floor under the rich man's table, and the dogs came and licked his sores. Later, Lazarus died. The angels took him and put him in the place of honor beside Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried. He was sent to the place of death and was in great pain. He saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. He called,
Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to me so that he can dip his finger in water and cool my tongue. I am suffering in this fire.
But Abraham said, "My child, remember when you lived. You had all the good things in life, but Lazarus had nothing but problems. Now he is comforted here, and you are suffering. Besides that, there is a big pit between you and us. No one can cross over to help you, and no one can come here from there." The rich man said,
"Then please, Father Abraham, send Lazarus to my father's house on earth. I have 5 brothers. He could warn my brothers so that they will not come to this place of pain."
But Abraham said, "They have the law of Moses and the writings of the prophets to read. Let them learn from that." The rich man said,
"No, Father Abraham, but if someone came to them from the dead, then they would decide to change their lives."
But Abraham said, "If your brothers won't listen to Moses and the prophets, they won't listen to someone who comes back from the dead." Luke 17, verses 1 through 10. Jesus said to his followers, "Things will surely happen that will make people sin, but it will be very bad for anyone who makes this happen. Some of these people here may seem unimportant, but it will be very bad for anyone who causes any of them to sin. It would be better for that person to have a millstone tied around the neck and be drowned in the sea. So, be careful. If your brother or sister in God's family does something wrong, warn them. If they are sorry for what they did, forgive them. Even if they do something wrong to you 7 times in one day, but they say they are sorry each time, you should forgive them." The apostle said to the Lord,
"Give us more faith."
The Lord said, "If your faith is as big as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, 'Dig yourself up and plant yourself in the ocean,' and the tree will obey you. Suppose one of you has a servant who has been working in the field, plowing or caring for the sheep. When he comes in from work, what would you say to him? 'Hey, come in, sit down and eat.' Of course not. You would say to your servant, 'Prepare something for me to eat, then get ready and serve me. When I finish eating and drinking, then you can eat.' The servant should not get any special thanks for doing his job. He is only doing what his master told him to do. It is the same with you. When you finish doing all that you are told to do, you should say,
'We are only servants, not worthy of any special things. We have done nothing more than the work we should do.'"
Song 45, verses 10 through 17. For the music director, to the tune Shoshanim, a maskil from the Korah family, a love song. This is part 2. My lady, listen to me. Listen carefully and understand me. Forget your people and your father's family, so that the king will be pleased with your beauty. He will be your new husband, so you must honor him. People from Tyre will bring you gifts. The richest people will try to win your friendship. The princess is so beautiful in her gown, like a pearl set in gold. Clothed in beauty, she is led to the king, followed by her bridesmaids. Filled with joy and excitement, they enter into the king's palace. Your sons will be kings like their ancestors. You will make them rulers throughout the land. My song will make you famous for generations. People from other nations will praise you forever. and ever. Thank you, everyone. That was day 105. Join us for day 106. You'll learn about the first harvest, stone memorials for the people, blessings and curses, and then the blessings you get for obeying the law. And in the book of Luke, Jesus heals some Jews and a Samaritan. And then he talks about the coming of God's kingdom. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.